All right. Hot take, Tony. Let's do it. I got my mic working. I got the new cam. Hopefully shit looks better. I'm figuring shit out. Uh, all right. So tariffs, right? So tariffs were going to actually go into effect tomorrow. It was going to be Tariff Tuesday. That's maybe when this video will be posted. I'll call it Tariff Tuesday. Tariff Tuesday, Hot Take Tony. It's a collab. It's the collab of all collabs. But the tariffs on Canada and Mexico apparently aren't happening, right? This was just another one of big boy Trump's big boy moves, scaring, Mexico and Canada into creating their own efforts to secure the border and, 10,000, I think they each are doing like 10,000 border agents. It's whatever. I feel like he could have just like said that shit originally. Who knows if that's what was discussed. But just to because, a lot of Americans were pissed off by this. So why even throw, that's what, I feel like he doesn't get is yeah, you're, maybe psychologically playing, the Mexican leader and the Canadian leader. In the meantime, you got Americans all freaking out, and then businesses, this is the thing, right? Because businesses are making moves to prepare for this shit. And so if there's, going to be tariffs, a lot of Canadian stores, they threw all their American products away. So American companies are going to be hurt by that because until those other, Canadian businesses restock, that's all American products that are not being sold there. I'm sure Mexican companies and Mexican stores did the same shit. So he thinks that he's some fucking genius with this shit, and he doesn't understand he's fucking up. It's fucking up the American people, American businesses, even if it's meant as a bluff, right? Bluff to them independently. Bluff to them in the meetings. Don't have Americans, citizens, Mexican citizens, Canadian citizens thinking this shit is going down and everyone's making adjustments. Companies are having to make moves to adjust to that. The stock market fucking took a big hit today because, investors and everyone thought they'd have to adjust for what was happening. So just dumb, bad strategy. I understand the big brash kind of, I'm going to make some big threat if you don't do X, Y, Z. And, as far as the border thing, I get it, with Mexico, they should be participating in the border as well as us. Totally fine with that. Totally agree. Canada's had a strict border for a long time. I live in Michigan. I don't know how many people, live in the northern states that border Canada. If you've ever went to Canada, it's pretty strict. It's not an easy get in and out kind of situation. So, that's kind of a stupid thing for them. Okay, only 1% of, undocumented people get through the border from Canada. Sure, we'll, beef up security even more. So that's whatever. My main thing that I was most pissed off about is the fact that we were doing 25% tariffs on Canada, 25% tariffs on Mexico, but only 10% tariffs on China. That's pretty weird, right? Because China is really where the tariffs should be going anyway. That's where the majority of our jobs are outsourced to. That's where our main manufacturing competitor is. So that's really where the tariff should have gone. And again, the whole purpose of tariffs in the first place is to bring back American jobs, American production, protecting the American worker, right? That's a pro-worker policy, or at least it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be a pro-border policy. It's two fucking different things. And again, so he's not even using the tariffs, how they're supposed to be used. Nonetheless, the fact that China was only getting a 10% tariff, really it's because Elon Musk, spoke to him because Elon was going to get hit negatively by the China tariffs because he has a lot of protection there. Anti-union Elon, who now runs the Secretary of Treasury, even though he was never elected, does not have government security clearance, is in that bitch cutting things left and right without, constitutional approval. So what he's doing is essentially illegal. But, who's going to stop him, right? Because the Democrats are pussies. The Democrats are pussies. They just go with the flow. And I can't blame Republicans or conservatives or people on the right for hating them. The Democrats have no spine. And ironically, the only time in the past 20 years that you ever had people like from the right voting for them are from the two most left-leaning aggressive presidential campaigns in Democratic history in the past 20 years anyway, which was 2008 Obama. 2008 Obama ran a very unapologetic progressive left campaign, and he won with a landslide, dominated. And obviously, if you win with a landslide, you're getting a lot of right-wing voters to vote for you. So that's number one. Number two is Bernie Sanders. 2016 Bernie Sanders had a big crossover with Trump supporters. Again, very unapologetically left in terms of economic policy. So the Democrats, they don't learn the correct lessons. They continue thinking, like they have for the majority of the past 50 years, that to get conservative voters, you have to capitulate to conservative ideas and you have to fucking run around with Liz Cheney or something. They don't give a shit about that. The majority of Americans at this point are pretty anti-war, both left and right. So it's just people want to believe somebody, even if they don't agree with everything. I'm sure there was plenty of conservatives that were supporting Bernie that did not agree with a lot of what he would say, but they believed him. They believed that he was being honest about his views. And that is more important than, even the policies themselves. Do you come off as authentic? Do people actually believe you? So, that's really the lesson that I hope Democrats have learned. They got fucking 2 years, bro. I mean, the good thing about an incumbent party is that they can only fuck shit up, right? So, when things go wrong with the Ukraine-Russia war, which is not gonna, Trump said he'd have that boy done day one. It's still ongoing, right? Israel, Gaza, no ceasefire, even though they were supposed to have one. Israel has no interest in the ceasefire, so that's ongoing, right? So these problems are his problems now. And if these problems don't get solved, he's failing on them. And that's how it's going to look in the eyes of the American people. He's apparently now not doing shit about grocery prices. A lot of programs look like they're getting cut that really help the American citizens and our veterans, which is absolutely shameful. I was looking into volunteering at the VA, went on the website to fill out the paperwork, and because Trump did this spending freeze of the government, the VA can't even forget hiring people it actually needs, right, to help support our veterans. It can't even hire volunteers who do not get paid. I would not get paid for it. I would just be volunteering. I can't even do that right now. So that's just shameful. It's a shameful thing. It's not helping anybody. You're only hurting American citizens who you are supposed to put first based on your messaging, by the way. So it's, they can only fuck shit up, right? The Democrats are going to have, it's going to be their ball, right? And it's up to them to really run aggressively and not do the same shit that they've always done, which is just capitulate to conservatives, try to be a moderate candidate. Being a moderate or a centrist, there is no centrist anymore. The American politics continue moving right, on the issues that matter. I know conservatives talk about culturally how we've moved left, and even, the places that things have moved left culturally, I would say are more libertarian, which, libertarianism is still more of a right-wing thing anyway. So we live in a right-wing, dominated political, country. We've moved further and further away from programs that help Americans like Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security. The rich, whether it's Democrats, Republicans, the past 50 years, the tax rate on the rich has continued to go down and go down. And I think now it's like, I think under Biden, it went down to like 20 something percent. Now it's going down to 15%. So if there's not enough tax revenue to fuel these programs, people are going to be cut. People are going to be, our seniors who, live on Social Security and have, help from government housing to house them. They're going to be out. They're going to be homeless, right? They're going to go without food. So, this is what happens, right? This is what happens when you do this big dream of deregulating the government and breaking it all down and breaking it apart. I have no problem breaking things down in the government that aren't actually at service to the American citizens, but when you're coming for the veterans, when you're coming for Medicaid, when you're coming for, food assistance, housing assistance, now more than ever, Americans need this stuff, right? So that's really where I draw the line. And, people on the left, we have to start being just more aggressive. We have to really start believing in that Second Amendment, boy. We can't be the party that's like trying to take the guns away. You're never going to take the guns away. There's millions. There's more guns than there are Americans. I think it's like guns outnumber Americans 3-1 or something like that. You're never going to get rid of them. So embrace them. Learn how to use one. Learn gun safety so you can be a responsible gun owner. There's a lot of left-wing gun clubs now. So people on the left are starting to kind of understand where things are because, the right does not fear the left, and the government, even the Democrats, don't fear the left because, they pose no threat, right? There was no, say what you want about January 6th, they were going after right-wing people like Mike Pence and, other people because they were like, this is these are the people that are supposed to represent us. So Republican lawmakers fear the right-wing base. They're like, hey, if we don't represent their values and what they want, they're going to be coming after us. That's how Democratic elected officials need to feel about people on the left. They should be in fear of us. And I'm sorry, I hate to take it there, but we really need to be the Black Panthers right now. We need to be showing up on, the lawns of Congress, the Capitol, the White House, like the Black Panthers, strapped up, not, being violent or anything like that, but because it's our right. And if we show them, hey, we have these rights too, we're not going anywhere, we can be intimidating as well, then they'll start taking us serious. But if we're just we just want to, follow democracy and be nice little people and, that shit doesn't work. Okay, so we have the evidence it doesn't work. So if you're on the left, it's time to, really just take things into your hands more, do everything that you can to really push the people that are supposed to represent you, and put the fear of God in them. Because I can tell you straight up, there's not going to be any more settling for neoliberal, soft hand Democrats anymore. I'm not doing it, and a lot of us aren't doing it. If your main policy stances before anything else are not universal health care, universal housing, universal income, student loan debt cancellation, get the fuck out of here. We're done with that. It's over. We're not settling for the Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, Kamala Harris, Joe Biden. People on the right thought they were too far left, right? It's ridiculous. So don't be scared about being called far left. Don't be scared about being called a socialist, a communist. These are not bad words. So embrace them, run on them, And, we really need to take the political world back as we had it in the early 20th century. The early 20th century was, that was dominated by FDR. That's where we need to get back to. And it was like that because a lot of the labor movement was not playing. The labor movement in the early 1900s, these were some aggressive motherfuckers, bro. These were people who played no games. There was some serious brawling. There was some serious action. And that's how we need to be. It is what it is. It's time to be aggressive, time to be militant, show no fear. Be as dedicated to the cause as people on the right were, because that's the only way that we're going to take, the piece of the pie back for us. So that's my hot take today. I'll probably be back. Stay tuned. And, I'm going to keep these going because there's a lot of shit that's happening on a daily basis. So we're going to keep it going. All right. Peace and love.